In today's video, I'm going to take you through the whole process from start to finish on re-leading a window, starting right now. So the very first thing that we need to do with a window like this is to photograph it. If you take the window apart before you've taken a documentary photograph, it can be a little bit more difficult to actually retrace your steps. There we go. First step done. I'm wearing gloves throughout this whole process here because I'm now recommending to everybody that we wear protective gloves when we're working with lead. If you're not wearing gloves and then you start touching your phone or drinking a cup of coffee, the chances are you might contaminate the other items that you're working with. Just out of an abundance of caution, we now wear gloves for all of our leaded glass work. So now that we've photographed the panel, we need to take some rubbings in order to map out the lead matrix. Now to create the rubbing, I'm just using a wax crayon. You can get these online, they come in lots of different colors, and I'm just choosing a dark, I think this is a dark purple. Essentially what we're doing is putting a piece of paper over our leaded glass window and then taking our wax crayon and then creating an impression like this. So I'm taking two rubbings. One is to work on the panel with, and one is to keep as a record of the condition of the panel so I can put information, etc., on that second rubbing. Now that we've taken our rubbings, we're just going to put some details on the rubbings so that we have a record of exactly what the window is and the sizes that we want to make it to. Now that we have taken our rubbings and taken the glazing sizes and recorded it before we've started to dismantle it, we're going to begin the dismantling process. And in order to do that, we'll need a pair of snips. I tend to use these snips here, which are relatively inexpensive, easy to get hold of, and I very carefully tease the lead aside. Now, this will create a degree of dust, especially cement dust, and quite often Victorian panels, when they were originally cemented, there was red lead added to the cement mixture, which is toxic, so you have to be very careful about the dust content. In the States, I see a number of studios dismantling their panels in a bath of water, so the panels are actually submerged under the water as they dismantle it, and I think that's a really good idea. It's not really the tradition here in the UK to do that. I haven't actually seen it in Europe either, but I think it's a great process. But we're going to dismantle the panel in the traditional way that we do here in the UK, wearing gloves. I'll also be wearing a mask, and we have to just do quite a lot of dust management to make sure that any dust that is created is swept up and we don't start creating dust clouds that we're, obviously breathing in the dust is not something that we actually want to do. So now that we have cleaned our work surfaces of all of that toxic dust, we're ready to give the glass a final clean. And a little pro hack for you are these. It's what's called a smoke sponge, and we use these all of the time to clean the glass in a non-abrasive way. And you can actually use it dry. So they're often used to clean smoke damaged surfaces on delicate materials like paintings, so canvases and oil paintings, etc. And it's very good as well for cleaning glass. So again, you could just work with it dry. So just to create, you can see we're just removing the kind of excess dirt and debris that's off the surface of the glass. And we're doing it without using things like wire wool, for example. So wire wool can be very abrasive to the surface of the glass, and especially if you're working with painted glass with a delicate painted surface, you don't want to be using anything abrasive to clean the glass at all. So these smoke sponges are really useful. Now that we've cleaned all of our glass, we're ready to begin the releading process. So we start by putting our battens down at right angles to the rubbing, just making sure that we line up our rubbing lines correctly with the rubbing so that we're getting the battens positioned correctly. And here we're using our 90-degree angle just to make sure we're getting a nice true 90 degrees. So now before we begin to cut our lead, we've got to make sure that our lead knife itself is as sharp as it possibly can be. So I tend to use a homemade lead knife. Now this is basically a window scraper that you can buy from any hardware store. And I have spent quite a long time just honing down this edge here so that it is as sharp as possible. And I just essentially use a grinding stone with some oil. So I'm just going to resharpen this again because I have been using it recently on another panel. Before I start every new panel, I always make sure that my tools are as sharp as they can be. Now that our lead knife is nice and sharp, we're going to move on to choosing our leads. So as you can see here, I've already put the notation in for the different lead sizes. So we're going to stretch our lead just a little bit to remove any kinks. It also adds a little bit of tensile strength to the lead, and then we're going to begin cutting it to shape. So let's start with our outside lead here, which is our 1/2-inch lead. We're going to put it into the vise here. And we're going to give the lead just a little tug to straighten out the edges. We really don't need to make a great deal of pull on it, just enough to kind of straighten the lead out. So our lead is now ready to cut. So we're going to cut this first section of lead here, which comes up the side of the panel and then carefully bends across. And we're going to cut a section of lead long enough for that area here. So let's just measure it out. So we're going to add a little bit extra here, so about 350 mil. So again, using our sharpened lead knife, we're going to apply a downward pressure at 90 degrees to the surface of the lead, and we're going to put a slight wiggle on the lead knife as well as we work at it, as it just helping it down to penetrate the lead surface, and you should get a nice clean cut, a little bit like this. So that should be a really nice cut. Now, if you prefer to use snips, quite a few people use lead snips rather than lead knives. That's absolutely fine. I also use these fids or lathicans, and they're used to open up the heart of the lead. So again, we'll just use the pointed surface here just to run down the heart of the lead to make sure that the lead is opened up nicely. We're also going to put another section of lead along the bottom. So this time it is 1/4 flat lead that we're going to put in place. So again, let's just give that a little bit of a stretch. When we butt our leads up together, that we make sure that they actually join with no gaps in between. So you can see here, that's a nice, neat join, one lead butting directly onto the next. So again, we're just checking to make sure that the heart of the lead here runs to the correct position with the edge of the glass, which is good. So we're going to offer up our next piece of lead here, and then we're going to cut it just ever so slightly short of the edge of the glass to allow for our next piece of lead to butt up carefully to it. So again, applying an even pressure with a little bit of a wiggle down onto the surface of the lead. Let's open up the heart of the lead again. And we should be able to offer that into position and then put our next piece of glass in place. Quite often I will use small pieces of lead like this just to separate the nail from the edge of the glass, because it's very easy to break the glass inadvertently when you're hammering a nail directly against the surface of the glass. These little glass hammers are really useful because they've got a sort of like a neoprene rubberized end, so they're really nice for just gently tapping on the glass. Obviously you can't really use a metal hammer like this on glass directly because you will damage the glass. So these little neoprene hammers are really, really useful for just helping to make sure that the panel stays true to its original rubbing. So here's a little pro tip for you. In the original leaded panel, some of the outside perimeter leads had been cut down in order to get them into the stonework. So we've now got the option of either re-leading this outside half-inch lead entirely and then cutting it down on site, or pre-cutting down the lead because we know that it was originally cut down to size. And a really nice little pro tip for you is to use this device here. And it's essentially used in a variety of different trades, including woodwork, carpentry, and indeed leaded glass work, for shaving down the top of the outer perimeter of the lead leaf of an outside lead. So I'll show you how this works in practice. It's just a really nice little thing to have, and especially if you're working on site. It used to be the case that I'd precariously try and cut lead down with a Stanley blade, and those Stanley blades are razor sharp, and it's very easy for them to slip and for you to cut yourself. And if you're on site, up scaffolding or whatever, and you've sliced yourself open with some lead cutters, that's not a good idea. This is a much safer tool because you're really not going to cut yourself open as you're doing it. And I'll show you in practice how we actually make it work. So here is the little Surform shaver. It's got a little logo here saying Surform shaver. And this little device is really handy for shaving down the outer perimeter of the lead, right down to the heart of the lead, essentially changing the lead size from an H section lead to a U section lead. So it's very easy to do. You just apply an even regular pressure, and it's like grating cheese. So here we have our U-channel lead. So as you can see here, it is now a really nice U-channel. We've taken the entire perimeter leaf of lead off. We're going to start wrapping it around the perimeter here so that we get a really nice line that follows the rubbing all the way around. Now that we've completed all of the perimeter leads, we're just going to check the sizes, make sure everything is exactly as intended. The next stage, after we've leaded the panel together, is to solder up all of the joints. So we're using today some tallow candle. This is traditional flux here in the UK. It's basically an animal fat, usually a sheep fat, something like that. But there are a variety of different fluxes available depending on where in the world you're watching this video. There can be liquid fluxes or pastes that you can use. All of them are suitable. Just experiment with the one that suits you best. I happen to like tallow candle. We've got our gas soldering iron here, which I'm about to fire up. So we're going to apply flux to each of the intersections where each section of lead joins the next one. And that flux is going to allow us then to put a little button solder joint in place, which is going to hold all of the lead matrix together. We're going to solder this whole side, turn the panel over, put flux on all of the joints and solder that other side in preparation for the next stage after that, which will be cementing the panel. Let's now turn our attention to traditional cementing of windows. What do we need in order to do that? Well, a pair of protective gloves. It's a messy old job and you need to wear gloves during the process. A scrubbing brush. I very often use disposable brushes. You go through quite a few of them, even though you soak them in white spirits, they eventually run out. A wooden bradawl for picking out the cement after it is cleaned. Leaded light cement. I buy commercially available leaded light cement because the consistency is great. And a little pro tip, cover the cement in water and it stops it drying out too soon. You'll also need some whiting. This is calcium carbonate, which is helping to clean the windows off and dry the windows out. After you've finally cemented and cleaned your leaded glass window, allow it to sit for a couple of days so the cement really cures before giving it a final clean. Using a soft bristle brush, give it a really good clean, and that really makes the leads shine and cleans all of the final bits of grease, etc. off the window. Solder on any copper ties that you need to solder on to the window in preparation for it being glazed. And that is your 6 stages for releading a traditional stained glass window. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Please check out this video next as you continue your journey in the wonderful world of stained glass. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.